Hello Pisces, this is your general read. For the main read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot by Paul Foster Case and Arthur Edward Waite. For the supportive cards, the Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. There we go. Alright, as usual, I've already shuffled the cards. Okay. So, your overall energy is the World card. I do feel like this goes for the whole situation. Now, the World card is a really good card. It can mean a great ending or a great beginning, but it's definitely transition from one part of life into another. So I really feel like this is like finishing off something. Could have been good or bad, but it's part of your life that's kind of moving on. But there's a whole new era coming in. And this is kind of signifying this, which can seem a bit dramatic, but I feel like whatever area this is hitting for you, you're changing. It's whatever you used to do that's kind of done. And you're going into a whole new phase. And it's a good start. I'm not only saying that because it's a World card, but I have other cards here that we're going to get to that looks really like a really great start for you. But you're ending something. I feel like you're completing it. You're not really walking away. You've just completed something. Almost like a completed lesson. That being said, when you're going into this time frame, I feel like you got a lot of creativity. I feel like you're not really aware that this change is coming. They're pulling me back on that. So is that true? That is true. It's not. Alright, so I'm feeling for maybe the majority of you, maybe you are seeing this kind of take a new transition. You want this transition. Alright, so you do kind of see this coming and you do want this to happen. I feel like a lot of you are ready to go into the next phase. You're probably feeling it. So if this reading is hitting for you, you do see it coming, they're telling me. And you're ready for it. You might be a little like... It might feel like you've been waiting for a while and you're just kind of like... You're ending a desert period. Like at the end of this cycle, you've been kind of like waiting to go on to the next. You maybe feel like you've been in limbo for a while and you're ready to go on to the next. Okay. So I feel like the creativity here is telling me like you're ready. You're like, I'm ready to go on to the next phase. Let's get it going. Like, let's do it. So I feel like the creativity with that, like you are, I feel like you're trying to get out of this desert period, and that's what this is kind of signifying. Okay, desert period is in, whatever the situation is, it's over. You've finished it, completed lesson, and you've kind of been hanging out, sort of. Okay, but even though that lesson's kind of over, you feel like it's still kind of lingering a little. The way you're going to know it's over is when the next one starts. Okay, so you're, with the Knight of Rods and the Two of Rods, you're ready to move on. You're thinking about it. You're ready to go. You're ready to, like, let's go on to the next. Okay. So, around you, there's the Queen of Rods and the Three of Pentacles. So the work, everything has been coming into play. Everything's going into position. I feel like you should see this happening. Like things are changing around you that are going to push you into this next phase. I feel like there's some things around you might make you a little nervous. I don't think they're bad, but there are changes going on around you that are going to affect your life. And they may make you nervous. For that reason, you might not see them in a positive light, if that makes sense. I don't really feel like they're bad, but because they're definitely changes that are affecting your life, and it's going to change how you do some things, you may be nervous about this. So this may make you nervous. I don't feel like it's bad, though. I feel like you might view it as bad because you're nervous about what's about to happen next. Because these things that are going on around you are impacting your life. This is kind of the change from one phase to another. I feel like it's making you nervous. You kind of feel it. You kind of want it. I feel like you do want it, but when you feel it coming in, it's like that top of the roller coaster feel. Like, oh boy, here we go. The next card in your reading here, the next action line, things go forward. Things start. I feel like it's an unavoidable next phase. Okay. But oddly enough, you do want this. I am getting this nervous feeling. Like it's really exciting, but very nervous, because this is definitely like leaving something behind, going into a new direction, going into a new era. And I feel like you're nervous about it. That's what it's coming across as. Like, it's good, but even though it's good, it's definitely impacting your life. Like, this is changing your day to day. A month or two from now, you're going to feel like life is different than it is now. If this is hitting for you, like, it's that type of change. Okay. That being said, and of course, like I always say in general reads especially, don't get caught up in the gender of the card. Like things going on around you, I feel like somebody's initiating it. Somebody's helping things move forward. I feel like this might be, I don't know. I feel like you're aware of it, but you might not be aware of it in the beginning of how it's going to impact you. So you're aware that things are going on, somebody else is in control of it. You know it's going to impact you, you're just not sure exactly how it's going to impact you. Okay. Nervous feeling, again, because you're not sure how things are going to... You don't have the plan laid out in front of you yet. And even if you did, I feel like you'd still be a little nervous. Okay. That being said, things start going forward. And the message comes to you. I feel like there's someone bringing you this information. King of Swords, telling you what's going on. I feel like especially with this card right next to it, they're telling you you're protected. You're feeling safe with this. I feel like the way these two cards come together, like this person, which I can't seem to hold on to, whoever it may be, of course, again, don't get caught up in the gender. This person brings this with them, like for you. I feel like things are starting to work out, and you're starting to see how this is going to land for you. It could be information, or it could be a message, or an invitation. So, the difference between a message and the information, like somebody might be actually telling you what you need to do to handle this, what's going to come next, all other good stuff. And a message might be like documents coming in the mail. So let's take the difference. Like, this person might be sending you documents. Could be a combination of the two, actually. But this person, there's somebody who's bringing information. Somebody might be, actually, this person could even be offering you something. Because I'm getting this, like, this is pretty important, is what I'm saying. Like, whatever they're bringing towards you, you feel very protected and cared for? Okay. This is going really well. Somebody else, like, whatever the change is going on around you, somebody is looking out for your best interest. Okay. When this person comes forward, when this message, when whatever comes forward from this card puts you into action, you got the King of Rods. Whatever's changing around you, you're realizing things are changing. And I don't feel like you're waiting just to see it shake out, because you're just like, I'm not just going to be like stuck with whatever I get. I'm going to move forward and decide what I want. King of Rods, I feel like you might be a little aggressive, but it's warranted. Because I feel like when this last phase is ending, it's like pulling in some lessons. Like, do you just take what you're given? Or with the level this is going to affect your life, are you going to get out there and tell people what you want and make sure you get what you want? Because it's time for you to get what you want. and it's open. Fertility's on your side. You have a lot going your way. I feel like your piece of this is very valuable, and you can make this go the way you want. King of Rods plus fertility on your side, what you want will happen. Okay. Now, this next card, people get confused with sometimes. For this reading especially, I'm getting, like, not only are you extremely happy with the outcome here, but everybody around you, like, everybody involved, it works out. Everything balances out. Everybody who's directly involved in the situation. Whatever's panning out here, the people directly involved, everybody's happy, everything's fair, you're happy, they're happy. You need to speak up for what you want, and it's good. I feel like there could be some slight guilt you would normally have had, but at this point you realize, like, you need to speak up, or else you're just going to end up in you're going to start another cycle of the same thing you've already learned, because you're going to have to relearn it again, because apparently you didn't make it through what you needed to make through. It's like the ending of this last cycle is like it's like the test. It's like the final exam. Are you going to sit? Are you going to stand up and say what you want, or are you going to sit by idly and fail the test and have to repeat the course? And I feel like if you're watching this reading, the majority are going to stand up and be like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stand up and say what I want, and I'm going to fight for it if I have to. I feel like this is like another thing that this a lot of times reminds me of the Lover's card, which means successfully passing a major test, in my opinion. That's one of the ways it's come through for me, and that's what this is reminding me of right here. Granted, even though it's a general read, this could mean that you're ending up, this whole thing is coming through about a relationship for you. And while one has ended a while back, you've been very picky and trying to find the right person. The right person comes into your life, and you're nervous to start it, but you get right in there and start it, and it's a good match. That definitely could, if I'm going to just nutshell it real quick for you. It could definitely mean the literal meaning of that card. For the majority of though, I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like this is signifying the successful completion of this era. Unless you're having like major problems with relationships, because like if this is if this is touching on you for a relationship, you've had problems in relationships, repeating patterns that you've finally come to terms with, and now that's going to the wayside, and whatever it is that's been causing these problems in the past, you're setting up this next relationship, standing up for yourself the way you need to right in the beginning, so you can lay a strong base ground to not repeat those patterns again. I'm really feeling like for the majority of you, it's not relationship, but it could be since it's general. I know that sounds crazy, but unless you've had problems and you've figured out what the problem was in your relationship, and you could like flat out say, this is why I'm attracted to what and what, such and such, and go through such and such, until you have control of that. If you have this type of mentality, this could fit for that, but only if there's been problems that you've dealt with, gone over, and you're well aware of what the problem was and you're moving on from it. You can identify it and say that's done. Otherwise, it's not related to a relationship, which I feel like it's very minimal that it's going to hit for relationships for people. Because I know people are going to see this card, and I know the romantic thing's going to pop right in there. Like this says romance, doesn't it? Yep. Like I understand that and I can respect that, but I'm just saying, unless you've had major problems and you've identified what it is you do or what it is that attracts you to certain people, and you've come to terms with it and been like, you know what? When somebody talks to me like I'm a victim, I like that, and it pulls me towards these people, and this is what leads me to all these problems. And you've come to terms and like, you know what, I'm not a victim. I'm not going to go for that anymore. And if somebody treats me like that, like I need to be taken care of, it's an immediate end. It's no more. We're done. I'm going to walk right away. It's going to be thank you and no thank you and walk away. Something like that. I don't know. I feel like I need to beat that to death because I know that's where a lot of people are going to go with this. But it's more about an ending of a phase, ending of a time of life, successfully. But you might have to rewatch the beginning of this because I went and droned on about the romantic part. But it's the successful completion. I feel you're moving. The majority of you are not only realizing what this is about, but you're successfully completing it and into the next phase. This part here where it starts off and the information comes to you and you stand up for yourself, however that needs to happen for you, that's the successful completion. That's the test that you're passing. That's like the final exam. Because however you handle it this time, you haven't handled it in similar situations the same way in the past. Not completely anyway. But this time it's like that final exam. You know what you got to do, and you're like, it like weighs on you. Like, I'm not going to go through these same things again because I know it's going to get, the same thing's going to happen to me. You stand up and you make sure you go in the better direction. Okay. I feel like that's going to make sense if I'm not just about this. Okay. So, I think we're good with that. Before I keep droning on and just, 50 minutes. I'll shut this down. Of course, if you would like a reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you for watching.